a lot of the sensory information that we get from the world, the visual, the auditory, smell, haptic sensations, this information goes from our sensory cells through the thalamus, which is a very interesting structure in the brain, and then goes to the cortex, probably one of the areas that maybe long-term memory are stored and the planning is going on. Higher cognitive functions are in this kind of field. What is so important about the thalamus? Can you tell us?
No, it is an enigmatic structure by itself. I think, and maybe as much as the cortex. I think, they go hand in hand, right? All vertebrates have both. And so it is something that also grew in complexity over time, let's say, during evolution. And so, there is something about it, which I think for a long time it's been seen as just a sensory relay system. And of course, that I think by now is clear that we have to depart from that view. It is not just simply a relay station for incoming sensory signals. It does that, but bigger parts of the thalamus actually collect information from other parts of the brain, and especially also from the cortex back and distribute it again into cortex. So it is more like a switchboard rather than just a relay station. It's just not a linear relay from one end to another. It collects feedback, it distributes it again, and that I find very fascinating. Because learning is feedback, right? Learning is about, without feedback, you cannot learn. So, and somehow I think the thalamus does play a big role in that process by providing feedback in one way or another. And so this is something that we were trying to understand a bit better. And so yes, but why is it there? Why was that? Did that structure evolve as it is? We don't know, but it's really, I think, goes hand in hand with the cortex. I think that's as much as I could say about it, I think.
I allow me to correct myself. I said all sensory information, but the auditory,
the auditory does, but the olfactory.
Olfactory. Olfaction, it has a direct connection to the piriform cortex, right? So they also have.
Interestingly, the olfactory chemical senses, I think, that already were there in very early invertebrates and worms. They did it without thalamus. There's all kinds of ideas about what makes that the other senses so different. What did I read? I read once that some people were arguing that maybe the invariants that you have for most senses do not apply to olfactory system. Like we all have abstract ideas of what a glass is, right? If I put it upside down, I still can know that it's a glass, or if it becomes miniature, I still know it's a glass. And I think many mammals, for example, can have that capacity. And it's the same with hearing, and the same with haptic information or some of the sensory information, and maybe not so much for olfactory chemical information. But who knows? I mean, it becomes all a bit speculative, and it's an interesting hypothesis.
Exactly. Yeah. Why do people consider the thalamus as the gate to consciousness, for example? Do you know that? I mean, I guess it has to do something with sleep. And well, it's very important in sleep, and it definitely, there's parts of the thalamus that regulate it and that can induce it. Again, because it collects information from cortex and sends information back. So also things that we've seen, not so much in context of sleep, but some parts of thalamus and the higher order thalamus from the sensory system, we find regulates excitability of cells. And so it might have a certain switch function. If it's on, these cells can operate and they can integrate other information. If it's off, maybe these cells are going into sort of like sleep mode, if you wish, and become less excitable, and other signals have less influence over them and drive them less. That's a very simple way to put it, but that could be a way thalamus or thalamocortical projections function. Not the primary relay neurons, but the ones that actually feed back information.
And it's a kind of a station where during sleep, for example, it shuts down the connections to the cortex. Therefore, we don't leave our dreams, right? And it's a very interesting structure to think about.